I am Linda Krenicke, pronouns she and her. I'm serving as the worship associate today. I'm a short, white elder woman wearing black pants, black shirt, and a beautiful worship associate stole made by Heidi Gould. As we go from getting here to being here, I invite you to shed as many distractions as you can. Slow any racing thoughts and settle your breathing. Rest in the warmth and love present here in this sacred space while Jason lights the chalice. And I read the words of Reverend Bob Dennis, Janice Dillon, and Kathleen Mateague. Sometimes the only thing we can do is to be still for a moment, to remind ourselves of what is real. The sun that rose this morning, 1 hour later, I guess. I can't do that math real quick. So the sun that rose and the dirt under our feet, this hour, just try to be present in each moment as it unfolds. Your simple attention is what makes those moments holy. We come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we acquire for ourselves awareness and gratitude, taking the time to look into one another's faces and see their communion, the reflection of our own eyes, the community of laughter and silence, memory and hope is hallowed by our presence together.
Thank you so much, Kara. And now I can see the youth back there ready to come forward. Come on, kids. Come on. We've got a story for you, and you have something for us, right? Yes. We've got paper circles all tied together to make this long chain. All right. We are going to do something with that chain a little bit later, but for now, if you could just lay it up here. Your arms are tired? Oh, dear. Whoa, it keeps coming. There's more. Have a seat. If you could sit in a circle and face each other, we're going to act out. Yeah, some of you know. So Linda? Yes. Circle. That's more like an oval. All right. Okay. Once, long ago, there was a person who wanted to understand something very important. They wanted to know what makes a community broken and what makes a community beloved. In other words, what is the difference between beloved community and broken community? So a wise elder said, "Come with me, I'll show you." First, they came to a room filled with delicious food. There was soup and rice, fruit and warm bread, more than enough for everyone. The table was crowded with good things. The people in the room were each holding a very long spoon. The spoons were so long that each person could reach the food easily. But something was wrong. Each person trying to feed only themselves. They scooped up the food, stretched out their arms, and tried to bring the spoon back to their mouths, but the spoons were too long. The food spilled. No one could eat. Soon, the people became frustrated. They frowned at one another, they complained, they blamed other people. And even though there was plenty of food, everyone felt hungry, angry, and alone. The elder whispered, "This is a broken community. There is enough for everyone, but people forget how much they need one another." Then the elder led them to another room. It looked almost exactly the same. The same long table, the same fabulous feast, and the same long spoons. But this room felt different. It was filled with laughter. The people were smiling. They were eating well, and no one was left out. Well, the visitor looked more closely and saw why. In this room, each person used their long spoon not to feed themselves, but to feed the people across from them.
One offered soup, another offered bread, someone lifted fruit to a neighbor's mouth, and as each person gave, each person received. The elder smiled and said, "This is what beloved community looks like. We all have what we need, but only when we care for one another, only when we remember that no one belongs alone." The visitor stood quietly for a moment. At last they said, "So the difference was not the room, it was not the food, it was not even the spoons." "No," said the elder, "the difference was the way the people chose to live together." And from that day on, whenever the visitor saw hunger, loneliness, or people struggling all by themselves, they remembered the long spoons. And they asked, "How can we feed one another? How can we help one another? How can we build beloved community here?" Because beloved community does not appear by magic. It is something we make together. So thank you so much for helping with the story today. If this is your first time with us, please bring a grown-up with you to the chapel as we sing our blessing song. And if you don't want to go under the arch, then you can follow your teachers to go around. Thank you.
Good Sunday morning to you all. This is the Reverend Jen Youngsun Rue. I use the pronouns she and her. Today I'm wearing a bright yellow jacket and a colorful stole over a black dress. I invite you to rest here for a moment. Rest in the warmth and love present in this holy hour. Try to find some stillness in your mind and in your heart, even as the world around us spins in chaos. It's not always easy, is it, to redirect our attention from the busyness up here, I'm pointing to my brain, to down here, and I'm pointing now to my heart space. Your heart space, where the divine light within you dwells. This space is big enough, it's deep enough, it's compassionate enough to receive all of your worries. This is a space from which stillness can arise and where you can cultivate your own sense of peace. I know it's not easy. It takes some diligent, patient practice to redirect your thoughts of worry and fear and anger into a place that can hold them with care. After a week of violence initiated by our own government, over 1,000 people are now dead, including 100 school children, over 100 school children, and U.S. service members. There is no end in sight. More people will die, adding to the thousands who have already died, not only in the Middle East, but in Ukraine, in Sudan, in Myanmar, and other places I don't even know about. As the Reverend Dr. King said in so many different ways, returning violence for violence only multiplies violence, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. I know that a lot of us are holding such grief in our hearts, such grief for the state of the world. And then there's your own personal grief that you're holding as well. And I know at the same time, some of you are celebrating wonderful things in your life. All of those things mingle together here in this beloved community. And here is a time set aside for you to express those joys and sorrows. You can do that silently in your seats as we listen to some more music, or you can visit one of the 3 Joys and Sorrows stations located in the sanctuary. You can write on a card, and I'll read as many of those joys and sorrows as I can from the pulpit. Zoom friends, as always, go ahead and type into the Zoom chat, and I'll read those as well.
I have a poem for us by Victoria Weinstein called "The Church is a Body." The church is a body. May this body breathe and be together in the spirit of hope. May it feel held by comfort. Those who seek consolation, may they find it in the solace of this moment. The church is a body. It is as strong as all the people who have ever gathered within its walls. It is the power of all they dreamed and all that they have done. The church is a body. It is as vulnerable as the most newborn and untried of its members. It is ancient, and it is ever new. The church is a story. It is the story of lives that are interwoven, brought together in this place and this time for the simple purpose of caring for one another and helping one another along the arduous path from birth to death. The church is a vision. It is a vision of unity and diversity. It is a vision of reverence for all of creation. It is a vision that beckons us beyond the concerns of our own skins. In the silence, may we abide as one body in the spirit of faith, hope, and love. That is the story and the vision of this church. I'd like to invite Lane Young to come up.
Thank you, Linda. I am a 70-year-old, 5-foot Irish person who enjoys celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and today I'm wearing a lot of magenta. And so I'm here to talk to you about being a new member and to celebrate the new members who are here today. And so I came to the church as a single person with no children, and I realized at one point in my life the absence of family was really a void in my life. My family is unreliable and mostly lives far away, which is okay. And so I lived most of my adult life without family around me. And, single without children is the quickest expanding metric in American society for the last 30 years. And so there's more of us around all the time. So I came to the church with a seeking heart. I was seeking companionship. I was seeking others like me. And what I found is a whole lot of people who were like everybody. And what I quickly found was more than just a sense of belonging, which is what thought I was looking for. I found a sense of family. And so, if you see me after service today, please come say hello and share with me what your goals are for coming to the church, because I'd like to hear what they are. And by doing so, perhaps we can also share the seeking of our hearts and together move into what would normally be a pretty desolate place in America, because that's where we are outside this place, but inside we are family. And thank you for being part of my chosen family. Namaste.
The new member ceremony is a very special moment in the life of a congregation. When we welcome brand new members, we feel the excitement of meeting new friends and delight in seeing our community grow. Now, someone asked me this last week, is there a requirement to join the church? Do you have to become a member? And the answer is no. There is no requirement to join as an official member. We have beloved friends who attend worship and they participate in events and contribute financially, and they have no interest in becoming a formal member, and that's entirely okay. Those who desire to take that additional step, though, do so because they want to signify a deeper commitment to this congregation and its mission. Since this past December, 16 people have entered into a declaration of their intention to join this church. And they did so by reading the covenant, our covenant, and agreeing to come here today to make sacred promises in front of all of you. In a Unitarian Universalist congregation, you do not sign on to a set of beliefs. There's no creedal test at all. Instead, you freely enter into a covenant with the other members of this community and with UUs throughout the world. Members of this church then become a part of the Unitarian Universalist Association, where we, quote, draw from our heritage of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared faith. We are accountable to one another for living our values through the spiritual discipline of love. And those values, those shared values, you know what they are, right? It's justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. Jet pig. I once heard a colleague of mine, Michael Piazza, talk about the moment that he realized that was the moment where he realized, okay, I am now a member of this church. And it wasn't when he started dropping weekly checks into the offering basket. And he said it wasn't the first time he took an RE class. It wasn't even the day that he signed the membership book, and it wasn't even the day he became president of the congregation. He said, I felt like I became a real member when I spent an entire Saturday afternoon doing a deep clean of the church building. He says, I'm not saying that membership only comes with a scrub brush and a mop, but I do believe that we become a member of the congregation when we change our posture from guest to host, from visitor to steward or caretaker. And as hosts, we make sure that every guest who walks into our building finds a welcoming and nurturing spiritual community. As lifelong seekers, we grow our souls through our continuous faith development. And as stewards, we offer our time and our resources to help sustain and grow this community. And so, I would like to ask those of you who are ready to become official members of this congregation to please come forward when your name is read. And when you get up here, Linda's going to pass around this microphone so that you can say your own name. You know, the name that you prefer to be called, and just in case I mispronounce your name, you can correct me. But before I call your names, I do want to express my gratitude for the membership committee. You know, in a church of our size, often the membership committee is really a staff person, but we have a very, very strong group of volunteers, and I want to recognize them today. So it's Sharon and Amy and Heidi, Heather, Judy, Peggy, Linda. So thank you all. And now I'd like to introduce you to Matt Barton, Amber Dennis, Ivy Ellis, Jerry Jones, Marlene Maston, Bill McMahon, Karen McMahon, Lynn Oliveri Barton, Joe Ragmali, Robin Schindel, Rebecca Spooler, Matthew Spooler, Suzanne Stover, and of course, Lane Young. You may have to make 2 rows.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go, Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt Barton.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, I'm Ivy Ellis.
Hi, Ivy.
I'm Amber Lee Dennis.
Hi, Amber.
I'm Jerry Jones.
Hi, Jerry.
Marlene Maston.
Hi, Marlene.
Karen McMahon.
Hi, Karen.
Bill McMahon.
Hi, Bill.
Tony Oliveri Barton. I don't go by my first name, so I'm Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Joe Ramagli.
Hi, Joe.
Suzanne Stover.
Hi, Suzanne.
Aurelia Ramagli.
Hi, Aurelia.
Cedar Stover.
Hi, Cedar.
Becky Spooler.
Hi, Becky.
Robin Schindele.
Hi, Robin.
Matt Spooler.
Hi, Matt.
Gail Lehman.
Hi, Gail.
And I'm still Lane Young.
Hi, Lane. Oh, dear friends, it is not by chance that you have arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself, an intentional community of belonging and care, a group of people who don't put fences around their love, and a heart home to nourish your soul and to share your gifts. And now, let's everyone say together the words of our covenant, followed by the words of our mission, which is our shared purpose. As a beloved community, empowered by love, we covenant to embrace the next person who is always arriving, open to the change they will bring. We covenant to trust others in their identity and truth, and work to be trustworthy. We covenant to speak our truth bravely and gently as we commune in love and peace. We covenant to make efforts to understand the views of others and make amends when intentions and impact collide. We covenant to expand our connections with a larger community with humility and empathy. We covenant to remember that how we I am happy to present to you the newest members of UUCE. Please make a special effort to reach out to each one of them and say hello. And now let's make some joyful noise. So the youth have been working on these paper circles for many, many, many weeks. You can tell because there's so many of them. What they did was they wrote down words that name what matters to them about this church, what they love about this church and this community. And now they have very generously given it to us and trusted the grown-ups with this so that we could add to the chain. Connections change what is connected. Just as every new person who arrives changes us, each new addition to this chain will change it. And it will look different, and it will feel different. And that is something that we want to celebrate. I invite you to come forward and write a word on one of these pieces of paper, a word that is most meaningful to you at this time in your life. It can be about this community. It can also be personal. It can be a prayer, an intention, a truth, even if it's painful, a dream, a hope. So when you feel called, you can come up here and do that. If you need a little help and you'd rather stay in your seats to do it, our wonderful ushers will bring you these paper slips and pens to your seat. So all you have to do is wave and they'll come to you. Right. And while we do this, Bob. We're going to sing a little something? Yeah, all right, great. Let's say together the words of our closing while Linda extinguishes. And we have words coming. We extinguish this flame, not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now I would like to invite you to be seated again, just for a few more minutes. And if you really have to leave, obviously, you're free to go. In the constant busyness of our lives, the headlong tumble into the next moment, it's easy to miss each other, to be inattentive to one another. I know that this is one of my growing edges. Sometimes I'm so focused on where I need to be next that I don't attend well to the person right here in front of me, to this moment right in front of me. Simone Weil once said, "Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity." Attention is the rarest, and it is the purest form of generosity. To pay attention to the people around us is an act of generosity, and generosity is born of gratitude. Gratitude is born of love. Now let's give some loving attention to Kara Eubanks and this final movement of Vivaldi's Four Seasons Spring.